Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's Pinterest project. This month we are going to be making some fun sushi candles. Give you a little up close view there. So for this project, almost everything was in your kits this time. The only thing that you will need from home is a crafting knife and some scissors just to kind of trim up edges. Everything else is in your kit, and we're going to be using our hands to basically shape it all. So I'm going to flip the camera around so that you can see how we turn all of these sheets of beeswax into a fun little candle here. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the fun little candle that I have already made. So in your kit, you've got all of the different sheets of beeswax. You've got your actual wick. And then, like I said, from home you'll just need a crafting knife and some scissors to do some trimming. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take the wick that we have here, and we're going to put our 3 colors around the wick. So this first color that we have, and you can do these in any order you want. I just picked up the green because it was the closest to me. You're going to use your hands to start kind of like warming up the sheet of wax and slowly bending it. And like I mentioned before, this is just a sheet of beeswax. These sheets are actually sold at like craft stores. You can get them online. We found this craft. It wasn't from Pinterest this time. Shh, I know that's the program. But we found it from another library, and we just thought it was such a fun, cute little craft that we had to do it. So you can see it's easily bending. So now I'm going to get really tight here and just squash it, stick it together. You can't really smash it too tight because it's wax, it's pliable, it's bendable. All right, so we've got our first little rolled piece here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to smush our wick into it. All right, we've got piece number 1 done. I'm going to go ahead and do the other 2 colors here. And you'll notice that not all of your pieces are exactly the same size. I mean, I tried to be pretty precise. I did use a ruler. But if they're not perfect, it's okay. The only thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that your top, so this part where the big long wick is, you want to make sure that that is even. Because as you can see from this candle here, that's what's going to look like the sushi. At the bottom, and you can see I wrapped over kind of some of the excess green on this one. And then that's what you're going to use the crafting knife for too, is just to make sure that the bottom of it's all flat. So while you're rolling it out right now, it doesn't have to be perfect. None of our crafts are, because we're not. So, roll this all together here. And if you and your family is a big fan of sushi, oh, actually we just missed it. We just had a teen craft. Wasn't exactly a craft, kind of was, where they made sushi out of like snack candy foods. It was super cute. So stay tuned. The teens do a lot of crafts too if you have a teen in the family that would like to have some fun projects like this. So now that I have my second one, I am just going to, and you can see here, there is a big size difference with these two. So before I even attach it, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to take this piece off, and I'm going to smush these two together so that the tops line up here. And then I'm going to put it back around the wick. All I'm doing is just using the heat from my hands to just smush it together. And you can see there's going to be a little gap, but that's okay because no one's going to see that part of it. If you wanted it all to be even, just use your crafting knife to just slice off that extra space there. But I think, yeah, all of my other ones are the thickness of that red one versus the green one there. Oh, and I'm a little bit off camera, I think. And our last color here, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Use the heat of your hands to just wiggle that into place. And if while you're rolling you notice that a piece cracks off or didn't fold right, the best part about this is it's all beeswax, like I've mentioned a couple times. And because it's beeswax, that means that it's easily pliable. You can maneuver it how you need to. So if anything happens, you can always fix it while we're working on this one. Now I'm going to take this last color here and I am just going to smush it right up against all the other ones. So we have our center. If this were actually sushi, it would be like maybe some avocado, some tuna. That's our filling in the middle here. All right. So now that we've got that, we're going to take our first sheet of white and we are slowly going to wrap it around. And you can see here, like I mentioned about things being cracked or not peeling right, this we're going to put at the bottom. We want all our blemishes at the bottom. And I'm just going to slowly, using the heat of my hand, wrap it around what we already have in place here. And again, the thing that we're most concerned with is getting this top part lined up. Once the top part's lined up, the bottom will all come together at the end. And then I'm just going to keep wrapping and smushing using the heat of your hand. All right. That is all pretty well together. Smush it up real good. Oh, sorry, shaking the table here. All right. And then just on the bottom, I want to kind of bring this all together so that when it does melt, it gives us an even melt. Things will fall in through the creases as well. I shouldn't say things. The wax will fall in through the creases as it is melting because it's a candle. So if you're worried about having a big empty hole at the bottom, that's not going to happen. It'll all fill up with wax while it burns. Then we're going to do our second sheet of white. So we're just going to wrap this one. I'm lining this up where the other one ended, just so that it's all nice and even. If you've got like a spot that needs a little extra, you could start at that end. As we press it all together, you're not going to notice where things end and begin. It's not going to be super important. And this one also had a little blemish. We kept it right at the bottom. It's good to go. And then just like the first white piece, we're just going to smush everything all together so that it's all one nice piece. You can see it's starting to look like sushi. All right. The one other thing I'm going to advise when you're working on this is the beeswax is sticky. So when you're done, you're going to want to wash your hands. But it will also pick up if you've got anything on your hands. So if you were working with glitter or anything like that, it will pick that up. So you'll want to make sure that you have clean hands before you start the project. All right, this is all put together pretty well. My bottom is smashed together pretty well too. I don't see, other than just having a little bit raised in the center, everything looks good. So our final touch is we are going to put our green around it. Now this, I don't want to start where the seam is. If I can find the seam, I smashed it all pretty good. Oh, here we go. I'm going to start just over it so that it doesn't line up with it. The reason that I do that is because if we were on the seam and did this, we would have a weird overlap because of how these are lining up together, so it would be really thick. Versus what we're going to do here, where we're going to line it right at that edge and match it together, and we'll get a real nice seam like this one. So we're going to go ahead, use the heat of your hand to go ahead and wrap our green around. The green is going to be longer than what we need. You're going to have a little extra. And this is where the first use of that crafting knife comes in if you didn't have to trim anything else, is we are going to take the crafting knife. I'm going to line up right where that edge is. And you might want to work over some kind of surface that will keep your area from getting scratched. I am being dangerous and freehanding. No. I'm going to show you guys why I didn't have anything under mine for this one. So I'm making a little mark here. Now, if you have a mat underneath this and you can go all the way to the bottom, that's going to be the easiest thing for you to do. If you don't have a mat handy and available, you're just going to turn it on its side and slice right through. Be careful, crafting knives are very sharp, and the wax should come off real easy for you. And then we're just going to smooth out that seam by, you guessed it, the heat of our hand. Smoothing it out just like the rest of the sushi roll. And I like pressing all of the edges at the top together so that it's nice and even, sticks together well. And do another round of smushing all the sides. Work my seam just a little bit more, and then get the bottom nice and even. This will be the part where if you have bits that are coming off the bottom that you would want to use your crafting knife to trim that up. This one's pretty good. I've got the little hole there, but when it burns, wax is going to fill up that hole really easily. All right, so now we've got a nice little sushi candle, but it's got a huge wick. We definitely do not want all of that on there when we are ready to burn this. So this is where you use your scissors. You're going to want to give yourself about a ½ inch. You could do a little more, a little less, depending on how you like your candles. You're just going to take your scissors and trim, and there we have it. Sushi candles! Super quick, super easy, and they are absolutely adorable. At least I think so. I hope you guys do too. I hope you had fun with us. I know this month's project was really quick, but it was too cute for me to pass up on it. So I hope you guys had as much fun with it as I did. And if you enjoyed this, we will see you next month for some nail polish dipped flower pots. And always, as always, please send us pictures of your finished projects or you working on your project. We like having pictures of you and your smiling faces too. So thanks again for joining us, and I'll see you next month.